We're talking about the one and only Rachel Dolezal. I know you know that name. It is almost a household name because she gained so much publicity on the national news, not once, not twice, and she's still at it. Folks, this woman was born in 1977. She's about 48 years old, and boy, her whole life, she has been busy, and I mean busy. Now, I don't think she is the worst of the worst. You know, we've got drug addicts and gangbangers and people who shoot at each other and kill each other. This woman is responsible, I'm going to call it white collar crime. We'll stick with that. So, in 2002, most people don't correlate this with her troubles. She actually sued Howard University, now get this, for discrimination based on race, pregnancy, family responsibilities, and gender. Her lawsuit, which the reason she sued is because she was denied scholarship funds. Folks, when you stand in line, you're at the back or the front, and you're competing with everybody else, don't plan on winning, and don't plan on getting what you saw somebody get. Don't get your hopes up. So basically, she was upset, and then she goes after the university. Nothing ever became of it. Years go on, time goes on. This is what everybody remembers. In 2014, she actually ran for the NAACP chapter president of Spokane, Washington. So, this woman, a little history, she was born to a white couple. This is the kicker, guys. This is how this got to be national quick. She's a white girl. Always has been. Her folks are the same way. The crazy thing is, somehow, she swindled her way into the chapter president of the NAACP in Spokane. How does one do that? Well, I couldn't tell you, but she probably could. Somehow, with makeup, maybe spray tan. Of course, I'm not a woman. I don't know all the tips and tricks on changing your face color and all that shenanigans. She made herself look darker. How does one do that? Couldn't tell you. But what she did is came off as far as her facial appearance as being darker. She curled her hair, made it fizzy and curly, and she actually looked almost the part. Now here's the problem I have. People, when you elect somebody as your chapter president or someone to hold a higher power, CEO, president of this, vice president, don't you look into them before you go and just put them on a pedestal? Don't you check their background, see where they're from, what they've done in their life, what education they have? How hard would it have been in 2015 to get on Faceplant and look at all of her photos, figure out where she came from, see if her next of kin, who they were, talk to mom and dad. Once you would have saw her mom and dad, white as could be, wouldn't you start thinking, you know, shame on the NAACP for not doing your due diligence. You're the one that almost got her in this position. If you guys would have figured out that she wasn't African American from the get-go, none of this would have happened in the first place. So think about that. It just is mind-boggling. How does one slip under the radar like that? I mean, she played you guys. She didn't work very hard at it. Of course, I don't think anybody else has ever done. How many chapter presidents of the NAACP around the United States are white folks? Give me a list. Let me see. Come on. Okay. So, she ran and she won the position. She was in this position for 1 year, from 2014 to 2015. This is the kicker, guys. This is, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Her parents, of all people, her parents are the ones that turned her in. They were basically the whistleblowers. Does that make any sense? You know, mom and dad are always there to support you, whether you're doing right or doing wrong. So, what got them on the edge of their seat to go and turn their own daughter in? I mean, was it that bad? Maybe they just couldn't take it anymore. Maybe they were racist. Who knows? We'll never know. So, after an investigation, so on and so forth, she was booted. She did a few other things. So we're in 2015 right now. 2016, she changed her name. I'm going to butcher this name. Her name change, as of in 2016, was Nkechi Diallo. Nkechi Diallo. Well, I'm saying that right. Haven't heard it formally. So, she changed her name. Why do people change their names? When they get in trouble and they do something they shouldn't have, and there's all these allegations, there's reports, people start building cases against you, making videos like these, then you go and you change your name and you think, oh, I'm invisible to the eye. Well, the internet always finds everything out. Google will always figure it out. Somebody will always be somewhere that remembers you and your face and what you've done, even if you've changed your name. So get this. After she got the boot, 2015, changes her name 2016, she actually gets in trouble, guys, for fraud. This is pretty strange. So in February of 2017, she claimed that she was upon the brink of homelessness and couldn't find a job. Well, yeah, I mean, I can imagine that after what happened. National news, nobody wanted anything to do with you. You were kind of a hot word as far as a household name. So apparently, she got in trouble for food stamp and welfare fraud. She was applying for that. It shows during this time, which was between 2017 and early on before that, 2015 to 2017, she had received approximately $83,000, which would have been almost a normal job, half of that for each year. So she was working at the same time, apparently, and receiving welfare food stamps at the same time. Nobody really knows that. They didn't mention that on the news. I think it was a felony. She got charged with perjury and a felony. Who knows what she was actually convicted of later on. I think she had to repay all that. Her assistance and benefits, complete 120 hours of service, community, yada, 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 to avoid a trial. So that was her first, sounds like, actual criminal charges. Now, we go a few years down the road. This is where it gets better. This is where Phil Swift comes in handy. But wait, there's more. There's always more to these stories. Hence the reason I made this video in the first place, guys. So, fast forward a few years, a few states down south. She actually moves to Arizona. She gets down there, gets nice and cozy, and guess what happened? She lands a teacher position down in the Tucson area. She does like after-school tutoring or something of that nature. Well, she was doing a little bit more on the side too, unbelievably. Now, a lot of people do this, I hear. I wouldn't know. But while she was doing her tutoring, somebody actually figured out that she was on OnlyFans. She had an account there. Now, some people are arguing that they put her face to a different body and posted pictures on the internet. I think there was a formal investigation done, and they actually figured out that it was her and that she was operating that account in complete 100% control of that account. So, she got the boot down there in Arizona as well. Of course, all these pictures were circulating the school. You know how kids are, social media, can't keep anything from them. So now, we haven't heard from her in quite a while, more than a year. Can you imagine, guys? Okay, riddle me this. You get in trouble in one state, say Oregon, up here in the Willamette Valley. You get in more trouble, then you go and change your name. And if that's not enough, you move down south. That's exactly what she did. Now, think about this. If you know that you got in trouble, and I don't know if she got convicted of this as a felony or a misdemeanor or whatever she pleaded out to, you get in trouble, you decide to move, and you think you're good. Well, not 100%. People can still do a search on that. They can bring up anything on the internet, just like we talked about. So, change your name, move out of state. Wouldn't you figure you'd want to be straight and narrow and not act up or draw any attention to yourself? No, she didn't do it. So, folks, if you're planning on changing your name, moving out of state, at least act the part and keep a low profile. Don't make trouble. Start a new life. Become a good person. Like I said, is this the end of Rachel Dolezal or Nakichi Diallo? Maybe not. She's still pretty young, 48. Let's give it another 10 years, see what happens. It'll be interesting. We'll talk to you later, guys.